a deep dive into four-time Olympic medalist coach. This interview is truly amazing. All the perspectives, philosophies, and ideas and tips you will hear from Marcio Sicoli, the head coach of Pepperdine beach volleyball team, are worth putting in gold. This is something that you will not encounter very often, so I suggest you dive right in and take out the notepads and put down all the notes and all the ideas that can help you on your journey to become a D1 athlete. Let's go.
So much for taking the time, Marcio. It's
Yeah, no worries.
having a genius to talk to is just something, nothing short of remarkable. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. And wrong way to start. I'm not a genius. I've been just doing that for a long time now, and I can't wait to just share and get to you and see you again and be part of all this that you're doing now. I believe back home, so I think that is awesome. I love it.
Thank you very much. As an opener for mentoring and bringing hope and showing the world what a person is capable of. So thank you for that. That's I think people that have experience and knowledge, I think it's our responsibility to share it. And I will, even though I send you the list of questions, I might surprise you. By the way, you look great. You look so amazingly happy. You must have a fast recovery after that season. Was that a grueling season?
Yeah. I mean, it's every season is a grueling season, and because like you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with people, and then you want to put them in the best position. You want to mentor them. You want to guide them. But I'm good. Today has been like a meeting day, so I spent some time like reading and then being prepared to see you. So it's all good.
Thank you very much. So I will start a little bit out of the left side. How did you define success for your team before this season?
Wow, defining success. I think my definition of success, it is almost like, hey, does your athletes and your team keep your cell phone on their cell phones? You know what I mean? Or just like after a year or 4 years, they just delete it. We're all professionals. We're all competitors, right? So like success always is like, okay, we got to get the gold. We got to get the trophy. You got to win conference. You got to win a national championship. But that is just way more complicated than just, that. And I think when we just focus on that win, you miss the process, right? You miss the process of people. You miss the process of knowledge. You miss the process of like sharing knowledge. So I define success, I mean, if in a practical way, is like, hey, those people still have my number, or you text them and then they just go like, okay, who is this? I think I will define success in my volleyball career as a coach on that more than all the titles or medals or where did I go.
That's what I meant, because I know you are big in building team and building culture. And so part of that, and excuse me for not specifying, I was looking from a bigger perspective at that, as you are approaching essentially a business, right? It's a business setup. You have these famous or fantastic co-workers working there trying to, is part of that success, creating a solid team that stays together, that holds together on the court, outside of the court, is part of that success for you, the fact that these girls will keep playing beach even after college? Or is it something result oriented, or is it more of a process oriented? What is that for you in a short period, or in a short time frame, and in a longer time frame?
Yeah, I think I'm focused on a process. I think it is cruel, I think, with any player or kids or professional that you just like hold them on a standard of like the winning portion, to the end. I think it is the process. So I care, depending on the level that I'm coaching, what is the process, right? So in a college, what is the process? You got to get an education. You got to get an education. You got to get a great experience and to make friends for life. On top of that, let's win a lot, right? On a professional level is a little different. It's like, okay, how can I mentor and guide this person, to have a fulfilling life, right? Number one, financially, because that's what you do. You're a professional player. And then the second thing is always focus in who came before you as a professional and who's coming after. And if I can't guide them and mentoring them on that, that is the process, right? And then that is the process throughout. We have incredible players and ambassadors of the game that won a lot, right? And then they were like on the media or with tons of medals. And then you have other players that they're great ambassadors for the sport, and they were not that successful with it. And then I hold them with the same value. I think that is incredible to be ambassador and mentor and guiding people.
I see. So this is a fun one. Where is LA 2028 gonna take you? Do we know, or are you leaving it up?
That is a good question. I think run
on.
to the Olympics. It is a process itself, and I think I believe in dreams. And I'm I was like a little fish on a big pond, and I had a dream to coach. I had a dream to go to the Olympics. I think dreams are important. But the second step of the logistical portion, it is really important. And at this moment, I don't have any logistics for 2028. So I'm living the moment, spending this summer with my family. I haven't had a summer with my family for 4 years. So this summer I'm with my family. I'm taking care of, I call my backyard, my foundation, and then we'll see. We'll see what we're going to come back on the next 3 years. Desire, energy I have, to be out there and mentoring, guiding, and fighting for medals. But at this moment, I'm here with you. I think that is really important. That's exactly what I wanted. That is every dream that is a logistical portion of it, right? And it could be from journaling through a budget, could be anything. And then I think at this moment, I don't have that logistics for my dream that is coming back to Olympics. I do have the dream. I do have the energy. I do have the fight on me. But at this moment, I want to spend summer with my family. I haven't been with my family in the summer for 2 years now. So I want to spend with them. And then after that, evaluate that logistics of that dream. But the dream's still alive.
I see. Thank you for that. I was so excited to see another incredible transformation, or that, it's like if you are in Italy or wherever, a country that is famous for its cuisine, and you make the same meal at home, and, it's like, okay, it's good. And then you go to Italy and they make the simple pasta, the most delicious meal you have ever experienced. So partially, I understand that it's the magic of Italy, but partially the chef and the sous chef. So that's always so amazing to watch how you're able to transform a personality or a team, or just create conditions in which they are able to achieve whatever they are capable of. So that's amazing. And watching you in Paris, honestly, with what was the name of your assistant?
Fiapo.
That was really amazing. You guys back there, and there were a few shots on social media, I think, that went through as you were watching the game, and from your stoic facial expression, they were already screaming out loud. They were celebrating, and it took you a little bit. It seemed like you really wanted to take that in. I don't know what was behind, but it was so amazing. And so congratulations on another amazing Olympic appearance.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get to our scheduled stuff. Somehow scheduled. It's going to be a topic, and we might veer off of that if that's going to be interesting. But my intention really is to present parents and athletes and coaches with some sort of nicely painted, detailed picture of what are they getting themselves into when they have the big dream of playing D1 beach volleyball. And every piece that they can encounter along the way, probably we're not going to go about every piece, but covering the biggest obstacles that they might, or challenges they might encounter, and how do you see them from your perspective, and how do you see that would be the, I don't want to say most pleasant, because it's a hard work and that's never pleasant, unless you really love it, but what would be the out of the, let's call it out of the box, because your thinking is always, or at least that's what I remember, look at the things that you don't see, or try to see things that you don't see, or try to think about the things that you don't see. So what may they be missing? Because there's a lot of information out there, and having an information from someone who has it put together and been there and done that and for ages is, I think, information that a lot of players and their parents are looking for, that might ease out their way in or out.
Got it. Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm in.
So just the start one, that's a little hypothetical, but what does this one is not hypothetical. The whole topic is, but so what does the House versus NCAA settlement mean for you?
For me, it's I was planning to coach 15 more years. I might cut for 10 more. I'm just kidding. It is a transformation, a transformation of this world. Everybody, there is a lot of opinions right there. That is, you're a favor or against. It is the world. The world is moving. The world never stop moving. And that is a possibility right now for players to have some financial upper when they go to college. And it's going to change the game as it's changing, right? Because we, especially in the United States, you had like this education base and foundation that is all about the education. And now it's going to be management. It's going to be business management. It's going to be fundraising management. That it's going to take a lot from the coaches to be able to separate that and be able to take care of their team through the process, right? Take care of the people that you have, and in the same time be able to manage and be a manager of like a business. And in few schools are like $1 million business. So for me, it's just like a learning. I want to learn a little bit more. What is that? And also like positioning myself and Pepperdine University with our values and our mission. And that's what we're going to do. Learning a little bit more and positioning myself. And hey, this is how we do. I know that maybe other schools do it that way. They have other missions and other values. This is how we're going to do things here. So that is what is for me. I think it opens a can of worms, like, who pays, who doesn't, where the money come from, taxes. That is all this really gray area, well, not gray area, like financial area that we wouldn't really deal with that in college. And now it's going to be on top of the table, right? So it's going to be there. People are going to ask, are you going to be able to use it or not use? So at this moment, I think everybody's learning. I don't think we should make decisions right away with the information that you have, because it's going to evolve. And then the last portion of this is, as professional players, right? Kind of like creating like a corporation. Nowadays, the population is like millions of billions of people. And then you have like a handful of professional players, right? And the college level is going to be the same thing. We have like this amount of kids that wants to education and wants to go to college. And it's going to be a small percentage of athletes, right, that will be like really focused on that financial portion. So I'm like a coach for the mass. I want to coach for everyone. I just don't really want to coach for that little small spectrum of people. So again, learning curve on this process and making sure that we position ourselves with our missions and our values. I think that would be really important.
Thank you. I will get you right there. How would you differentiate Pepperdine? What do you think is the mission and the values not compared, but what are the standout ones?
Yeah, I think, by foundation, we're a small private Christian school. And then we do have a Christian value that is going to be around campus. So what is that is, we're not going to put winning above everything. We're not going to use people to win. We're not going to cross the line to win. And I'm not saying that other schools does. I don't know how the other school does. I'm here for 18 years, and I know how we do things here. But we're going to put the people in number one. I think that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to understand the limitations for that person. Maybe not be a fit for the education and for the Christian values that we have. I think that's how we're going to position ourselves. Definitely revenue from a small private Christian school is different than, a big football school or a public school. We're going to have to navigate that. Like we cannot drive Ferraris, you know what I mean? Like but we're going to drive really our Priuses,
Right.
our electrical cars, and we're going to drive them really awesome. And we'll see where that gets us.
Very, very honest, very man of integrity point of view. Thank you for that. I think athletes need to learn that because it brings them peace in one hand. In the other hand, it shows them what is expected from them. That's human values first, and then show me how you can drive.
Yep.
And it will differentiate the stage, I think, because people will know what they are going for and where are they aiming. So very important. How would you, if you have a completely blank slate, and you don't have to go down that route, if you want, I would appreciate that. How would, and this is the clearly hypothetical, how would the NCAA championship and the recruiting process and for that matter D1 as whole would look like if it would be based on your needs, experience, and hopes for the sport?
That is well, again, you're right. I'm direct and really honest. I'm originally from Brazil. I'm an immigrant here in the United States, and I came here with the values of education and people. So for me, seeing that transformation, that school and education is not really on the top, it is a really, really, really hard for my values already. Simple examples as, you go in a recruiting meeting and then you're bringing a kid with, scholarship, and, we're kind of, helping her getting that education, whatever that format is. And, the question is always like, okay, and how about the NIL? And how about the money that I can make? Well, for me at that point is already showing me that your value is you're not valuing the education. So you want to spend 4 years or hopefully in 6 years make as much as money as you can, right? And then after that, even know what's going to happen. And I'm a process oriented person, so I wanted that to stay here and get an education and hopefully became a doctor and then a lawyer or whatever you become. I want to be there. I don't want that after 6 years, you have millions of dollars and then you look around, you don't have a friend, you don't know where to go, right? And then you're spending all that money. And like for what? So, I want to form players, I want to develop them. But that is a reason that we have a bigger mission that is forming citizens, right? And then they are like good citizens that they understand what is the common sense. They understand the society. And I'm not saying agreeing or disagreeing, right? That is not my point of view here, is just creating those people that they are citizens, that they can look to an issue or look at situations and have their stand and then stand for what they think that is important in whatever society they are. So perfect world is just, let's come back to college, right? And then let's play for the love of the game. Let's play for the love of your university. Let's play for the person next to you. Let's play for your head coach. That is what brought me to this country. It is that feel of belonging, of this, of that, you wearing your jersey with proud, not going to the rival school like just after a year. And
Right.
That's hard. That's hard for me. And then if I could go back, I would go back. And again, this is naive of me, right? Because we know the financial portion of that for athletes, for the school, how much money we make and all that good stuff. But I think the essence of the college sports, that's what I would like that it came back to.
Mm-hmm. You think there is, with the settlement, a way for it? I mean, again, another hypothetical. There is a way for it, like let's say the clubs. Does Pepperdine have a beach volleyball club?
No.
You think there might be a way for that, bringing that as a part of a study, as a let's say second, I don't like to say that, but second tier, and still athletes be somehow advantaged for participating in club and studying?
I don't. That's a great question. I think that is other limitations that I'm not aware, and that is so many rulings and then the laws in this country regarding open a club or equity or Title IX, or that I'm not aware of it. I think that is some school's discretion. Like every school has this discretion of like what to do or how to do, what to do for their own benefit, right? To keep operating, to keep like within the lines. So I'm all about club sport. I'm all about like the university sports. Like I think that is a great way, again, to exercise, number one, your education, number two, the sense of belonging. So hopefully men's club and women's clubs of sports, go up. But the other side is that is a lot of like of those being cutted because the university need to get the funds. So it goes both ways. So nowadays I think that's where we're going through.
Fair enough. So from what you said, I have two very important topics that I would like to get deeper. We might skip the structured order, but I think it's important time since you mentioned that. First one would be a message for coaches, let's say. So you're coming from Brazil. I'm coming from Czech Republic. I've experienced the old school Soviet and East European training methods, as well as yours and Marcos's. And for me, it is the fact that with every person in these countries where there is a lack of talent, let's call it that way, coaches work diligently. Coaches work almost not individually, but even in the team setting, there's a big focus on individual skills. Now, coming to United States, the biggest difference that I saw was that focus is on a game setting, right? And way less on individual work. And I would like to know your perspective on that. But for purpose of how should coaches approach their regular teams, beach volleyball, and maybe even indoors, because at that younger age, there's not much of a difference. And how do parents approach that? How or what should they pay attention to in this whole process? So please start. So first of all, what's your take on this, on my perception, and what is your advice to coaches and to parents how to approach this process?
That's a great question, and as we talked about a little bit before a long time ago, and I'm a type of coach that I like both, right? So I like both. I like the team setting, and then that is more game like or less individual attention and then less technical, right? But like the context, right? So I love that. I think if you don't have context in life, you don't have anything, right? And then on the other hand, like you need to have the skill, right? Like how do I go part of the context if I don't know the skill, right? So that is the same thing. Like and you talk about the food, if I have the best tomatoes and the best pasta in Italy, but like I don't know how to boil water, right, to even start the process, it is really hard, in my opinion, right? I think both concepts are correct. Now, what I think coaches don't do as much as I think they should do, it is identify those players, right? And I'm talking about that because this is not new. This is coming from, like now probably we're like, 20 years in with, the difference of DNA, right? What's your DNA look like? Where are you coming from? Is I don't think coaches evaluate enough or identify enough where's that player's coming from, right? So does this player, how many times you go like, oh my God, that kid is natural, right? And then coaches take that and then they don't act on it, Or they don't see like, oh my God, that kid is so greedy. Look at him. And then they identify, but they don't act on it. So they just put them or on a technical practice, right? Or they put on the settings and we lose them.
Right.
We lose them. And I think coaches are really good in eyes and identify those, but I think there is a lack of like, okay, what do I do now? Right. And I mentioned that like, even with my own family, I have 3 boys, right? And then you can look and you go like, oh my God, this kid is this age and he can catch a ball already. Like he can see it. The other one cannot do it. But in the other hand, this one in the water, he can swim. He's comfortable. And then the other one in the water is like, wait, I'm a little. So I think both techniques of the team setting or the technical are correct.
Okay.
Are correct. So like now you need to identify how to explore where that athlete are coming from, right? Put them on the top. So if I have a kid that maybe she's not that talent or natural, that is no parents that are athletes, right? So we're looking a little back, but he or she is like grinding. You're going to have to give some type of attention for that person, or on a technical level or on a team setting. And then you have the other kid that is like way natural. It is easier, to move the ball, especially for beach ball. You're going to have to give him some different attention or in a team setting or in an individual, right? So, and then that is the art of coaching. And that's how coaching is really hard, coming back to your question, sometimes in Czech or in countries that they don't have this large population, right? United States, if you miss like a talent here and there, who cares? There is another one coming. There is 15,000, but you miss those people, right? And in countries that maybe the sport is not that popular or the population is smaller, you might be killing 1 or 2 generations of Olympians, right? So I think if I answer your question correct, is I love both settings. I think mixing them up, it is the best thing. I think coaches do a good job recognizing, a little bit more the history of those players. But I think the action of like, hey, how do I put those 2 together, right? Those 2 type of players, I think we lack on that most of the time.
I see.
Hey there. Are you really serious about your D1 dreams? Playing beach volleyball in college? And does this whole recruiting process feels like a black box to you where you don't really know what to do and what the coaches are looking for? Well, you're not the only one, but I may have a solution for you. But before we'll get to that, let me ask you, are you really serious about your dreams? Because if yes, then you need to step up and take ownership of your actions. And the best way to do it is get out and start researching information. Now, there's not much information about this whole process and what coaches are looking for, is there? Well, so for this exact reason, I created this library of conversations with D1 beach coaches so you can learn and understand what are their green flags, what are their red flags, what are they looking for, who they really want on the team, who they really don't want on the team. And all this information will help you triangulate yourself and navigate this process with much more confidence and with success at the end. You can find me on YouTube or become a part of my community directly. You get way more information as a part of the community, but YouTube will do fine. So what you waiting for? Get in, I'll see you on the inside, and let's navigate the process with confidence. And if you need more help, just contact me, and I'll help you figure out how to make your dreams come true. All right? So let's go.
What do you think is the best way to self-educate for coaches in this regard? Do you think it's a simple trial and error? What do you think it is?
I think that's a great question. By the way, like every single time we have conversations, it is amazing because you bring those questions. I think is exposure yourself in your coaching skills. So like this, when I say that, I was like, okay, Marcio, what is that? When you were walking on the street, did you stop and then you look people playing, like throwing darts? There is a group of kids throwing darts. Did you stop and then watch? Did you watch when they are, just playing like a basketball on the backyard of like maybe like a little square, and then people, because that way you start training your skills as a coach, because you start identifying who is the leader, who is not, who is in charge, who owns the ball, who doesn't, who follow the rules, who doesn't, right? And then you start creating this holistic way to see that player and then go like, okay, I know if I had, and then this is me, right? If I had to come in right now and then coach this people, playing foot soccer, right? Like soccer, I would do that. I can do it if golf or anything. So I think the self-education is spending time, right, away from the specificity of your sport, but understanding people, right?
Right.
So like you see this group of kids or you're seeing this situation, or even in line, you're at the market and then you can see like, okay, how I would coach these people to not be in line that long. Like, well, how we will do that. And I think that is coaching 101. I think that is how you self-teach you. And of course, the formal way, right? You're reading books, having conversations like with you, and understand that everyone has a value. And it could be the person that wants more medals, less medals, never won a medal, never made a team or made the team. I think that's how I have been self-coaching, my skills informally and informal with what we're doing in books and all that good stuff.
Thank you. That question that comes right now is the main theme of me thinking of you as a human being and as a coach. And after one or two conversations that I had with you, just started to plot every or majority of the situations that I encounter in everyday life. So you told me once, or at least that's how I remember it, is you're trying to look for things that you don't see. You're trying to. Now, how were you able to connect these two, right? Did it come out naturally, or when did the intellectual curiosity sprouted out? When did it come to the point where you say, okay, this is something I have to pay attention because it's telling me more than the things that I see?
Yeah, that's funny because I told you that you're correct. I try to every single time that I look to a person or look to the sport or I'm watching a game, right? So I try to silence what success is. I try to silence like what is the spark, right? So I try to see like, oh, that in beach volleyball, right? Oh, that kill was phenomenal, right? Okay, that everybody can see. So I try to silence the sparks of it. Like I try to silence, what everybody sees. And then when I do that, the game became really boring, right? Because like you take all the sparks away and then became really boring. So then what triggers is, hey, I want to know more about that person. And then you start looking the way that they do, the way that they talk, the way that they rotate their hips, the way the little things that it's not, sparking, like it's not sparkling, like, and I, as a person, and then again, this is not a judgment, I enjoy that. I enjoy to be able to, for example, in your case, and I remember those days that how many times you came to coaches and then you would ask a question, right? And then you would answer a question. So when you were coming to me, and then I know that you're coming with a question, right? You're a player, you're curious, you want to get better. So when you start walking to me, I would say my thought process, like, what I'm going to tell him that he wants to come back to talk to me again. And because you come to me and say, hey, how was that hit? And I say, hey, your arm is so great. The speed on the ball was awesome. Okay. You're going to ask that to someone else and they're going to say the same thing. Why would you come back to me? So every single time I look at you, I know that it's coming. I see the sparkle, right? And then I go like, everybody's going to say that. He wants something else that nobody wants. And I'm honest enough to say like, hey, actually, I didn't see anything. And then they're like, wait, what do you mean? So that triggers already that athlete who goes like, oh, wow, he's not going to praise me. That guy's going to challenge me. He needs more time to see it again. Okay, I'm going to do it again, coach, right now. So like, there is this honesty that I have personally, and to not praise or be really concerned about the sparkles, because everybody sees that, and this is for the world, and I wanted that everybody celebrated. I wanted that everybody does that, right? But that is not really triggers me. Like maybe like that's who I am.
Right. Well, that's what got you where you are, and that's what helped the teams that you were coaching get where they got, right? So in the face of these things, now I will take it from high. This is a professor level stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll take it back to high school. How in the face of these things do you perceive a player? Okay, so you have a player, let's say, put three main areas: character, behavior, on and off court, put physical attributes, the basic ones: height, explosiveness, and physical performance as is, and then technical performance. So you have a girl, you are starting to evaluate her. Let's talk about the age a little later. What are your priorities? And do they change throughout their years, 13, 14, 15, 16, until you make them part of your team? Or does it stay the same? What is the priority perceived, and what is your internal priority, let's say a lens through which you see the other quality?
That's a great question. And then here's how I start my process, right? Because it is hard. That is a hard process. Like we can go through attributes to, and then also like whatever evaluation that I make, it's going to affect people's lives. Like, it's hard. Here's how I start the process. I start with a relationship, right? So out of the gate, I can see players that or email us or behave that they are not trying to create a relationship. They're just not. They are just trying to expose themselves, right? Because that's what the club coach said, or that is the mom and the dad. Like, hey, you got to go. You got to expose yourself. And they have zero intention to create a relationship with you and the program and the school, right? So, and for me, that is a red flag right away. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of that, right? Just because, I think relationships are important. And then number two is we coaches, here in the United States and all over the world, we do our homework. We know you. We've been seeing you. We've been watching you, right? So you trying to have that exposure to me, to show me what you do, I already saw that. And then you keep trying to do that, it doesn't matter for me. What matters is that you're a legitimate considering getting a relationship with this coach, with this university, with this program, right? So, and one of the things that every year, and then, I always joke around, is I'm going to get probably around 20 to 30 emails from recruits that copy and paste and then call me Tom. Hey, Tom, thank you so much. Or Tom, and then I'm like, I'm not even Tom. So you're trying, right? So I think number one, this is the biggest thing for me. It is being honest with that relationship, right? If that is you want to, and then you can see it, fake it until you make it doesn't work, at least for me, right? That is number one. It is that relationship. And that, Tom, it doesn't change. Like it doesn't change when they start or when they get older. The relationships get more mature, right? So like you see their honesty when they're 14 and what they are looking, and then 16, 18s and all that stuff. So the value doesn't change, right? The way it is, of course, you're getting mature and all that good stuff. So I think that is the number one. Now, regarding to the volleyball process, right? And I think that was the second part of your question, is I think right in the beginning, recruiting or when they come to Pepperdine as a freshman, I would like that they understand that their skills and their game is going to evolve, right? And you can see clear signs of that when you got a kid and then you saw their practice and then their practice with their coach, and then they come to camp and then they practice with you. And then in a year, you see another coach or a tournament, And then you see that their game is not evolving. They have been doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And for me, that is a red flag,
Okay.
right? Because as you see, and everybody's seeing, like, the game evolves every single year. We had to bump set to be able to play the game. Now we're jump setting backwards 360, and it's okay. So when I see players that, for example, right? So I go see their practice, and then they do the same. They come to my practice, and they are totally rigid. They're still doing the same thing. They're not open to that involvement, right or wrong, right? And that is a red flag for me. It is because the game will evolve, right? This year you're playing with Marcio. Next year you might play with someone else. Maybe next year you're going to have a different role in the team. Next, like, you're going to be a captain. You're not going to be a captain. You're going to be part of the starting team or not. So that is really important for me. That is, those two things are really important. And then again, those are two things that, nobody sees it. Because I can say, like, oh yeah, I want a kid with great arm. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want a kid that knows how to shuffle? Who doesn't want a kid that, all that can cut shot? Like, great. We see that. But like, especially as high as you get, yeah, she has a great cut shot. Well, I'm going to put a person right there in a cut shot. So what is the differential now for that kid to come and have a scholarship or to be chosen, right? And that, like, you don't have it. So like, those are the two big factors for me, right out of the gate for the recruiting.
Okay, thank you for the detailed explanation. Now, the next question that comes out of that for me is, first of all, when do you start? When do you start with even noticing the girls? Is it 12? Is it 13? Is it 14? What's your age?
And then I'm honest with you. This is how I do things. I don't know how other people do and what is right or wrong. Is I wait. I wait for them to do their homework and then be able to start creating a relationship with me through an email.
Did you like this conversation? It was pretty good, wasn't it? I have more for you. I have conversations with D1 coaches, experts, and all the tools and guides and whatever you can think of to succeed on your D1 journey and fulfill your D1 dreams. So what you waiting for? Jump right in, and I'll see you on the inside. And if you need more help, just contact me and I'll help you make your dreams come true. All right? Until later.